Olivia Miles. I mean, my God, they just letting her shoot at this point. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say Olivia Miles is a horrible player, not at all. But what I am trying to tell you guys tonight is that there is definitely some spookiness going on in
Nobody expected a 31-point game to spark this kind of conversation. Not the fans, not the analysts, and definitely not those who thought the Caitlin Clark debate had finally cooled down. Because what happened after Olivia Miles exploded for 31 points wasn't just another standout performance. It turned into something much bigger, something that had fans across social media asking the exact same question. One nobody really saw coming. And once people noticed it, they couldn't stop talking about it. Because while Olivia Miles was putting together one of the most impressive performances of her young career, fans started picking up on something unusual. Something they immediately began comparing to Caitlin Clark. At first, it didn't seem like much. Just a few posts here and there, a couple of comments, a few clips circulating online. But then it spread fast. Suddenly, it was everywhere. People weren't just talking about the 31 points anymore. They were talking about how those 31 points happened. That's when everything shifted. According to many fans, the defensive attention looked different. The spacing looked different, the pressure felt different, and social media quickly connected it to the one player who seems to be part of every major WNBA conversation: Caitlin Clark. Now, whether people agree or disagree with those comparisons isn't really the point. The point is that the debate exploded, and it exploded quickly. Because every time Clark plays, fans spend hours breaking down every possession, every screen, every trap, every double team, every defensive adjustment. It has become one of the most talked about narratives in basketball, so when Olivia Miles delivered a big scoring performance, many supporters immediately started drawing comparisons. And once those comparisons began, there was no slowing them down. The conversation expanded far beyond just one game, turning into a broader debate about how star players are defended and how attention shifts depending on who is on the floor. The craziest part is that the discussion ended up being bigger than the game itself. Think about that. A player scores 31 points in a standout performance that should dominate headlines, yet the focus quickly shifted elsewhere. Suddenly, fans were debating defensive schemes, player treatment, levels of attention, and the different challenges elite scorers face every night. That's how powerful the Caitlin Clark conversation has become. It follows everything, every game, every team, every breakout performance, every headline. And in this case, Olivia Miles found herself right in the middle of it.
Masterclass toward the Indiana Fever for how you handle a superstar point guard. We got to get into it, man. Today, Olivia Miles had 31 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists on 80% shooting. You see, she got KD in the building. Now the stars are pulling up for Olivia Miles, okay? She's bringing her own level of stardom, and she got stars pulling up. Man, the show she put on, Olivia Miles, 31 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 12 of 15 from the floor in just 26 minutes. The girl didn't even play 30 minutes. She had 24 in the first half and missed 1 shot. She would have went for 40 if this was a closer game. She just didn't need to play. Olivia Miles would have easily had 40 plus tonight if this was a more... We got to get into it. Then we got to get into the stats. We got to get into what Cheryl Reeve had to say. Stephanie White and the Indiana Fever ought to be embarrassed when you look at how the Minnesota Lynx are handling Olivia Miles versus what they've done with Caitlin Clark. Let's take a look, man.
Finishes.
The funny thing is that nobody planned for this to happen. Nobody woke up expecting a national debate, and nobody expected social media to turn a great performance into a league-wide discussion. But that's exactly what unfolded. Because once people started posting clips, the reactions came in quickly and in large numbers. Some fans argued the comparison wasn't fair. Others said it was impossible to ignore. A few pointed out that every player faces different defensive schemes, while others insisted that certain stars clearly draw more attention than others. Before long, basketball fans everywhere were choosing sides. Meanwhile, Olivia Miles continued to receive praise, as she should, because 31 points is still 31 points. No matter how the debate unfolds, no matter what social media says, and no matter how loud the arguments become, a performance like that deserves respect. But that's where the story becomes even more interesting, because the reaction wasn't only about Olivia Miles. It started to shift toward the future. What happens next? Can she maintain this level of performance? Can she become one of the league's biggest stars? Can she continue forcing opponents to adjust their defensive plans? Those questions suddenly became impossible to ignore. And that's when another realization hit fans. The league is changing fast. Young stars are arriving, new rivalries are forming, new fan bases are growing, and the competition is getting stronger every season. That's why moments like this matter. They aren't just about one game. They're about the next generation of basketball, the next wave of stars, and the next set of storylines. But to be honest, the reason this story exploded wasn't only because Olivia Miles scored 31 points. It exploded because it touched one of the most emotional debates in sports right now. Caitlin Clark. The moment her name enters the conversation, everything shifts. Supporters arrive, critics arrive, analysts arrive. Everyone has an opinion.
It's such a great job.
Oh, there's more.
High
There's
screens,
more.
just shoulder to shoulder, no room.
Impact is what you're saying, man.
Yes, I am.
Wide open.
Corner three from Miles.
Where's the traps? Where's the blitz? Where's something? Give me something. What? Bro, I cannot make this up. I cannot. Bro, I had to see for myself because there's been a lot of hype surrounding Olivia Miles, bro. There has been, I swear to you, like this last couple days, bro. And I wanted to really watch this game, dissect this game, look at some of the highlights, go over everything for myself as a commentator. And everything I came up with is that they're letting her shoot. Look, bro, she's wide open. And mind you, we're only 24 seconds into this clip, 24 seconds into this video. There's more. Watch.
Impact is what you're saying, man.
Yes, I am.
Corner three from Miles is good. Bench has got a lot thinner tonight. Here is Miles on.
Bro, they're just letting her shoot. Bro, this is by far. If can't nobody see this from a mile away, something's wrong with you, bro. Olivia Miles is going to be the new poster child for the WNBA. This is who they want to be the face. Olivia, I promise you, bro. I am convinced.
Talk try. I love that, man. Look how she get to the lane. These all left-hand finishes. The girl could go left. The girl could go right. She could finish with the left hand, finish with the right hand, shoot the three, shoot the mid-range. Like, look at her move. All left hand. She's just going left every play, and she's right-handed. She's destroying them. Good pass. Kayla McBride, Cash. Look at this. Handle her. Big body. You too small. And she talking it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, she put on a show tonight in Los Angeles, man. She put on a flat-out show. Look at her passing, man. Yo, Olivia Miles and Cheryl Reeve have revived Natasha Howard's career. Backdoor, finish. They've literally revived Natasha Howard. Natasha Howard was unplayable for the Indiana Fever last year. Olivia Miles averaging 18 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds, a steal and a half. And look at her shooting splits. The girl is shooting 55% from the floor. She's shooting
And suddenly, a normal discussion becomes a massive national debate. That's exactly what happened here. People weren't simply talking about points anymore. They were talking about attention, pressure, expectations, and what it means to be one of the faces of a league. That's a completely different conversation. And it's one that doesn't seem to be disappearing anytime soon. Because every great performance now seems to create comparisons. Every breakout game raises questions. And every headline sparks another debate. The uncomfortable truth is that this may only be the beginning. If Olivia Miles continues delivering performances like this, the spotlight will only get brighter, the expectations will only rise, and the comparisons will only get louder. That's what happens when you're great. People stop comparing you to average players. They start comparing you to the biggest stars. And whether people like it or not, Caitlin Clark is one of those stars. Which means every major performance from another player is likely to circle back to the same place. Comparisons, debates, arguments, and endless discussion. That's the reality of modern basketball. But while everyone was arguing online, one thing became very clear. Olivia Miles had everyone's attention. Not for a quarter, not for a few possessions, but for an entire night. And that's incredibly difficult to do in a league filled with elite talent, especially in a season where every game is under a microscope and fans are watching closer than ever. Which brings us to the biggest question of all. Was this simply a great game, or the start of something much bigger? Because judging by the reaction across basketball, many people believe this performance changed something. Not in the standings, not in the record books, but in the conversation. And if that's true, then Olivia Miles may have accomplished something even more impressive than scoring 31 points. She may have forced the entire basketball world to pay attention.